So, what can a single day really tell us about our world? Well, on April 8th, 2026, the news was this wild mix of huge breakthroughs, some pretty stark warnings, and these quiet little innovations. We're going to break it all down piece by piece and see the bigger story hiding in all those daily headlines. All right, let's dive in. The main story of the day was really a study in contrasts. On one hand, you had this major step towards global peace, and on the other, a pretty serious economic red flag right here at home. This tension, this push and pull between hope and anxiety, that's where our story really begins. And boom, here it is, side by side. On the left, a US-Iran ceasefire. That's a massive development, something that could genuinely de-escalate tensions across the entire globe, a real reason for optimism. But at the exact same time, on the right, India's Reserve Bank puts out this very sober warning. Basically, get ready for some economic headwinds. That contrast between international relief and domestic worry really set the tone for the entire day.
But, away from those huge global headlines and economic forecasts, something else was quietly unfolding in India, a story all about major technological ambition. On a strategic level, April 8th was a huge leap forward for the country. And it all started with this absolutely monumental achievement in nuclear energy.
Okay, so the biggest tech news of the day was this. India's nuclear program officially clicked over into its crucial second stage. And this was all thanks to a massive achievement at the Prototype Fast Breeder Reactor, or PFBR for short, which reached a state known as criticality. But what on earth does that actually mean?
Criticality sounds pretty intense, doesn't it? But in the world of nuclear physics, it's the goal. It's the magic moment. It means the chain reaction inside the reactor is perfectly stable and can sustain itself. You can think of it like the moment an engine finally turns on and starts humming, just ready to generate a tremendous amount of power. It was the final, critical step before this thing could be hooked up to the national grid.
And listen, this isn't just any old reactor. So what makes the PFBR so special? First off, it's almost entirely homegrown, a massive, massive win for Indian science and engineering. But second, and this is the truly incredible part, it's a breeder. It literally produces more nuclear fuel than it burns. This is a potential game changer for India's long-term dream of total energy independence. And here's the one fact that puts it all into perspective. With this achievement, India joined an incredibly exclusive club. Only one other country on the entire planet, Russia, operates a commercial fast breeder reactor. Just think about that. That single number tells you a huge story about India's standing in the world of advanced nuclear technology.
The tech focus wasn't just on energy, though. On the very same day, the Indian Army laid out its vision for the future of warfare. It unveiled this new technology roadmap, all centered on creating a self-reliant drone ecosystem. We're talking unmanned systems, loitering munitions, the whole deal. It signals a huge strategic shift in defense thinking.
So while India's making these huge strategic bets on the future of energy and defense, what was actually happening in the economy right now? Let's pivot from those big picture developments to something that affects people's daily lives. Because beyond the RBI's warning, there were some really fascinating things happening on the ground, especially in banking. Check this out. Bank of Baroda announced something really innovative called Bob Samvad. And what it is an AI-powered platform designed to solve one of India's most fundamental challenges, which is also one of its greatest strengths, its incredible linguistic diversity. And the way it works is just beautifully simple. A customer can walk into a branch, and they can speak their question in any one of 22 different languages. The AI instantly translates it for the bank employee. The employee responds in their own language, and the AI translates it right back for the customer. It's just a practical, brilliant use of AI to make banking more inclusive and way more efficient for everybody. Now, beyond that one cool innovation, the broader economic picture was, well, complex. This slide gives us a quick snapshot. So we saw a drop in PEVC investments, that's private equity and venture capital, down in Tamil Nadu. But at the same time, the country's major ports were reporting they'd handled a historic amount of cargo. And to top it off, the RBI decided to keep its limits on foreign portfolio investment, or FPI, the same, a real mixed bag of caution and growth. All right, let's shift gears now. April 8th also brought some critical stories about our environment and our society right to the forefront. A good reminder of those deeper, slower-moving challenges that are always running underneath the daily headlines. A new study dropped, and it delivered this chilling warning.
A pretty big chunk of the Sundarbans, the largest mangrove forest in the entire world, is showing signs of something called critical slowing down. This is a major red flag for the health of this vital ecosystem. But what does that term actually mean?
So, critical slowing down is basically an ecosystem's cry for help. It means the forest is losing its ability to bounce back from stress. So, imagine it takes, say, twice as long to recover from a storm as it used to. That's a huge warning sign that it's getting dangerously close to a tipping point, a point from which it might not ever be able to recover.
And the day was just filled with all sorts of other stories, each one important in its own way. You had new rules for managing pollution on beaches, a new report that directly linked climate change and public health, a state starting to use satellite internet to finally connect its most remote villages, and even a scientific breakthrough in sequencing the genome of the Madras hedgehog. It's a perfect snapshot of the incredible diversity of challenges and triumphs on any given day.
And finally, any single day is also a moment to look back, to remember those who really shaped the world we live in now. And on April 8th, 2026, the nation took a moment to reflect on the passing of a true veteran political leader. We remember Mohsina Kitwe, a real stalwart of the Congress Party and a very significant figure in India's political journey, who passed away at the age of 94.
And her career, wow, it was truly remarkable. She was a union minister, she was a member of both houses of parliament, and a key figure in her party's leadership. And on top of all that, she was one of the most prominent Muslim women leaders in post-independence India, carving out a powerful and lasting legacy of public service.
So, when we step back and look at April 8th, 2026, what do we actually see? We see the whole spectrum, a potential peace deal on the world stage, a warning for the national economy, a massive leap in nuclear science, a small but brilliant innovation in a local bank branch, an urgent ecological alarm, and the end of a political era.
And seeing all of that from just one day, it leaves us with one final question. In this constant flood of information we all live in, what really matters most? Is it the big headline, the quiet innovation, or the slow-burning crisis? Which of these stories is the one that will truly shape our future? Something to think about.